and welcome to City Skylines. We are playing Jackson Hole, Wyoming, and in the last episode, we started this city. I explained a little bit about what we were doing, um, a lot of bloviating and introduction here. I'm going to try and just really get to the nitty gritty of building this city. So, we've got a couple of water towers, our water tanks here in place. They both will do the sewage as well as the production of water. So I don't need to pour poo into my river, which is, I think, very unrealistic. I mean, realistic in that you can do that, and they do that in places, but unrealistic in that a city is going to have filtration and all that stuff. And I mean, I used to have one of those in my neighborhood where I grew up, so I find this to be extremely realistic in that sense. Now, this is a little bit more pie in the sky future, but it is the most cost effective way of doing your power. So I have one of those power plants. I have space for 8 of them there. And then I have space for these to go down that way, and then another set of row of pairs down this way. And I can, of course, extend this forward as I like. Now, this is going to be my spline, if you will, my expressway to access all of my industry. So my industry will hook up to this, probably a little bit here, certainly through over here, and then over here as well. Here's where your oil is, and then you got a ton of ore here. Obviously, you got all the trees you could ever want, as well as some good fertile land. So, I think the next thing to do is just to continue this road. I mean, if I'm planning a city, and let's face it, I am. If I'm planning a city, I'm going to build this road kind of straight out until we encounter this railroad. Obviously, I'm not going to just try and plow through that railroads, but at some point we could either go underneath it here, or we could maybe go over it. If we needed to raise that railroad up, we certainly could. There's a lot of options we have there, and we might just kind of have it go into the freeway. You know, not that I'm going to keep this curve, because that's horrendous. What an awful way to do it, but have it go into the freeway, just kind of dead end, and that's where the quote-unquote feeder road would end. I think that's actually very realistic, so we'll do that. All right, and so click at the 180 and bring her on in, and this is where the Move It mod is my favorite thing. It's the best thing since toilet paper. You'll hear me say that a lot. I love that line. Where I can now make this really, and what you want to do is you want to click. See how that is a turn, and then if you go far enough, it becomes a straight, and that's exactly what you want. Now, I would say that this is probably going to want to become a little bit more straight as well. And you might move that, and I'm pressing Alt now, and oh, well, that just makes it super straight. And so I might Alt and click here to make that straight, and then kind of curve that thusly. I'm not sure that you'd have that sharp of a turn in real life, but we're gonna go with it for now. And I'm gonna. Well, no, I can't. I'm sorry, I can't do that. So I'm gonna put this over this way, and then I'm going to curve it, and then I'm gonna move that till it's more in line. I think that's actually much more realistic to how that would go. We just go straight in. Yeah, and then I can make that a curve. Yeah. That looks quite a bit like how I would see that being in real life. And then this one would be a little bit less and a little bit less. And see, with this movement mod, you can just make those roads just be what they were always meant to be. And I love this. I love this ability. You know, it's going to look so much better. I think that ought to be straight. Yeah. Doesn't that look better? I mean, tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. I dare you. Okay? So, I don't like how that kind of who was the fool who did this? Oh, it was me. I built this map so any things that the map started with, it's my fault. Any flaws. So yeah, we got that road going right into there. And you know what we would probably have at some point. This would turn into a Control A, and now I can do that and Control A again. A one-way road going that way, and then you'd also have probably well, let's make it like a proper off-ramp, a highway ramp, and the highway ramp would do something approximating this. Control A to get that proper curve in there. And I will fix that in a second, guys. Don't you worry about it. I'm just trying to get the right curve. See, if you know how see how it like makes that happen. If you don't like that, you can always toggle node snapping off, and it will. Well, it'll do a little bit less of that. Toggle road bending. Maybe that's the way to do it. Yeah. Okay. So. Bam. Okay. Now, see how this and this is not looking quite right. You go to your movement mod, and what's really happening is the node is too close to the intersection. So you got too short of a node. So you just pull that node out, and it'll fix that right up. Now, obviously, I do need to also go back to the one-way road and have that go thusly, so that way it just continues right on. Now, I don't know if I want to make that an on-ramp. Why wouldn't I just make that an on-ramp? Yeah, I think that's better. And so that's a straight, and that's a straight, and that's the way you want it. You don't want it to be a turn. When it is considered a turn, you're going to have your traffic slow down, and that's no bueno. Now, where are we going wrong here? We need to pull this, or maybe this is just, yeah, it's just curved a little bit too far into it. So that's can also create that funkiness. So you got a little bit of funkiness here. Elevation can also do it. But there we go. I'd say, yeah, you just do it to the limit. And then we're going to pull this back and Alt. And that's just going to snap that. And then this will pull out just enough. And then this one will Alt click it. So it does a nice clean alignment. And I mean, look how gorgeous that is. I always was so frustrated that I couldn't make my roads the way I wanted them. And then I got this movement mod, and Huh, I ain't kidding when I say best thing since toilet paper. Really helps things out, and it just it makes it run smoother in both the game, and that's how it would be in real life. And you know, it just looks better, in my humble opinion. Um, so yeah, okay. So now we got that. What are we gonna do next? Um, so I'd say that this is probably a good place to. I'm gonna leave this area alone because this is maybe gonna be general utilities. And, maybe I put my garbage here. That could be a way to do things. Um, at some point we're gonna need a way to get across to the other side of this freeway, but I guess technically you could do that over here. Yeah. Um, Eventually you're gonna need to do that, but I don't think you need to do it quite yet. Um, so I think if I was to see this as a real city, and that's always what I like to do, if I was building a city, how would I do it? Oh, excuse me, with the sniffles. I think I would have so that's like an express road, but then I would have like a main avenue here. And this is going to be like where we start to actually build city. Um, and we're going to go nice straight road. It'd be nice to be able to click it right on that node there, but that, maybe we'll make that work. Screw it. It's going to make things work. And it's nice and straight. And this is going to be like Main Street. Okay, there's Main Street. Now look, it did that number. I don't like that. What can we do about that? Oh, this is where the movement mod can come back in. So I can click here, and I can just page down, just like if I was building the road. Only it does go up and down at a much slower pace, which is a good thing actually. And then that still stays a bridge. So how are we going to fix that? We're going to click this ground effects, and then we just click it, the upgrade road, and and then you got to make sure you unclick the. So I actually clicked on the road there, and then bingo. Now it's exactly the way we want it to be, and the construction crew just cut the little tip of that island or that plateau, if you will, off, which is not an uncommon practice. And we'll use that fill so at a later date. I am sure of it. So, yeah. So, that's kind of like our express lane. So we want to have very minimal impact here. All of our roads are going to come off of this. So let's do our first little commercial area is going to be like right here. Okay. And then we'll have my industrial. This is going to be, I think, the beginning of my industrial. I'll have just regular industrial here. I don't know. There's so many trees here. I might want to do lumber here, but I think the lumber mill is going to go across the river. I think this is going to be where the lumber mill will be, and I'll do just normal industrial here, just straight goods, right? We're going to do some commercial over here, and somehow we're going to need to start to incorporate some residential. Now, try and get a lay of the land. What I like to do to sometimes help me out is go to my topography, terrain height. But these are basically, I have actually done some actual site planning in real life. I've worked at architecture firms, and so doing site planning, this is pretty much how it's done. So I love where you're going to have your lines. Each of these lines represents a unit of elevation. Here I think it's probably like a meter or 10 feet or something like that. I don't know, but it's one unit of elevation, and so you're tracking basically the elevation all the way around. in case you didn't understand how that worked, I'm sure a lot of you were perfectly aware of that and probably could explain it better than I just did. And I apologize for the obtuseness of my explanation abilities. But in any case, just gives me a better idea. So this is all pretty flat. There's a little hint of a hill here, but that'll be um, mowed right over by whatever roads and stuff I put up there. Okay, but I'm trying to think. Okay, how would I if I was to build residential, where would I build it? Right. Um, so you're probably going to have mostly commercial here as well as here because this is your main street. And usually, once you get 2 to 3 blocks off of the main street, then you're going to start having your residential. And you're probably going to have like a really nice fancy house or a couple fancy houses on the top of the hill. So I wouldn't be surprised if I'm going to have a road that comes right here and it'll continue right on. I don't know if I want to have it go all the way over. At some point, I need to connect to this, but this is my express road, so I want to connect to that as minimally as possible. That doesn't mean I can't go over it and over the river and then back down and then get into my lumber mill area. And then that lumber mill area is going to want to connect to this, so you could have another road like over here that actually connects to the lumber mill and then connects up to that road that goes over. I think that's how we're going to do it. Okay, so got our plan. There's a particular road that I love to use when I'm doing kind of like a main road that's it's a miniature expressway, where I want a boulevard look. I have downloaded this road. Where is it? Did I lose it? Oh, here it is. Okay. And it's these basic roads with medians. I love these. I use these all the stinking time. And eventually we're going to upgrade to this, but for now we're just going to keep it with the grass. We're not going to leave it with just concrete. We are going to have grass because this is going to be right in the middle of our city, and so we're going to do that. Now, I'm going to build the road just out this way enough to start our bridge, and then I'm not going to build the bridge right now. That'll be later on because that's just I have that in my mind that I'm going to plan to build that bridge later. I'm going to build this road out this way, and then we are going to curve around, and we can take this terrain height off. I actually find that it's hurting my ability to see, not helping it. And we're going to curve this around because it's eventually going to, I don't know if should I just continue it all the way up to here and go all the way up into there. I don't know why I'd have a road in that valley. I think that would be a great place to have like a hiking trail or something like that. But at this point, maybe it would tee into a road here. Eventually, it would maybe go back around. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're now going to go to our residential streets, and so it's going to be basically you get the 2-lane suburban street, and then you got the same one but with trees. And I like the one with trees because this is the fanciest, nicest area. So, kind of get a lay of the land here, and we're gonna just kind of build along. Oh, the slope is too steep. I can always control A and say, you know what, build it anyway. And just kind of have this road meander through here. And I think that is that. And then that's going to kind of go all the way up the spine of this hill here. Is that accurate? Oh, that goes. That's the hill, so it'll go. But I still think that it'll come out and go off that way. Be a nice big long road, and then we're gonna go back to our boulevard here, and we're gonna tee off here. Tee. And eventually that road could continue on. I don't know what I want to do with that yet, but I know that I don't want to do it now, whatever I do. And so now we're going to go back to our suburban streets here, and we're going to have another street that comes along. Oh, I didn't want that. That's not what I wanted, guys. I wanted it. Yeah, there we go. I thought I had that selected. So there we go. We're gonna make that a bit of a more standard curve, and then this road needs to be over here and follow that same standard curve, and you just kind of walk down the hill here. So you got to have a nice little neighborhood here. You'll probably have a whole nother thing here. You can have some nice little houses here. And they'll kind of stop right there. Now, that's where our fancy rich people are going to live. But where are our poorer people going to live? I think we could just make more of a grid back here. Start planning our commercial and make kind of a grid. Or maybe we just do it right here. Yeah, well, let's just do it right there. Screw it. Okay. So, now we're going to make kind of more of a city grid here. And, got to figure out what roads do we want to use here. So this is going to be just a normal city street, right? So, just 2-lane roads with grass, or at best, we might put some... where's our bike lanes? Where are our bike lanes? With grass. Oh, there's my bicycle lanes. See, the bicycle lanes look so much like grass, it's always hard for me to tell. So, we could use these. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of the roads with bicycle lanes, but I love putting in, using, where is it? Oh, I remember. It's gonna be over here. So you got the bicycle path, you got your regular pavement path, but then one of the assets I have downloaded is this guy right here, pedestrian and bicycle path. And I stole this off of another YouTuber who's out there, Sam, what's his name? Busk? I don't remember the guy's name. I'll have to look that up. But anyway, he turned me on to this one, and I absolutely love it. And by the way, guys, if you're watching my YouTube channel, you definitely want to check his out, because all the stuff that I'm gonna do, he does so much more, and he's so cool. And I think he does make different choices than I would make in some areas, but for the most part, he is amazing. He also has background in. I think he used to be an actual city planner, where I have a certificate in community development design, and so I've certainly am not uneducated in the same area, but that guy, he just, I love the cities that he builds. I love watching him build, and he's a great guy. Um, so anyway, I digress. Going back to this, we are going to make our city grid, but we're gonna go back to actually roads, right? Okay. Get my head screwed back on. Um, yeah, we're gonna have a main strip, and then right about here, we're gonna go straight with it. And which road do I have? I want the 2-lane road with grass. Okay, right about there. That'll be like the main demarcation, and then we'll have some neighborhood roads. And so you're gonna have a couple of main roads. I think this will be a main road as well. It's saving, so I got to pause for the lag there, and that makes sense. It'll go, this one will probably actually connect up to my expressway here. Um, you know, I I don't like having both of these connections. I might take that connection off. I don't know. We'll see how the traffic does. Because I want it to just kind of go straight through. I don't want it to have to stop for nothing. And I only want to connect it where it would make sense to connect it, where the trucks would actually want to be turning, and they could turn on the main street here. So actually, I kind of don't like that connection. I kind of don't like that connection, and I kind of don't like that connection. And I'll figure out what I'm doing with this. I don't think I'm going to put that across the river the way that that's got to go. But maybe that just kind of turns into a J there. It'd be the back of the town, But in any case, so this is a commercial area, so this is going to be my other residential. And then we're going to go back to our smaller little suburban streets, but I think I'm going to go just to plain suburban streets. And, you got to make your grid. Okay, gorgeous. Alright, and take that little tail off. And you got a nice little neighborhood there. Okay, and then you got to have some upgraded streets here for your commercial. And I think if I'm going to suffer, it's going to be over here, not over there. You know what we could do? We could leave that out, and that can become kind of a decent little walkway park space there. I like to leave some open space. When you get too tight of a grid and it's too regular, it's just no good. Now, I bet you we could use a couple of small connections here. That's just a lot of things. So, go back to some basics. What shall I use? I don't know. I think I shall use... I'm sorry, guys. I'm thinking. What's this one? Cobblestone straight out. I don't like that. Okay. Why don't we do it like just another regular? We'll do that there. do this one here. And that can go forward there eventually. And then I think I want to upgrade that. So I think I'm going to upgrade that to this kind of road here. And the reason being, I want it to be a bit more of an expressway. And really what I'm going to do is I'm going to make, like, it's connecting at every road here, but it's going to go straight through because all these connections are going to basically really be penalized, except for this one. This will be a more of a main connection, so that's like where the stoplight would be, and then these would just be a stop here but go straight through there. And the same thing with that, and the same thing with this. And then this one, they would probably have like a four-way stops, right? Because they're not really intended to go through. So these are my through fares here. These are my just connectors, and then these are my main, like, everyday streets, the blocks. All right. Now we need to set up our water here. So go back to my pipes here. I need to connect, and I'm somewhat regular in how I do my water, but I found that sometimes it's more trouble than it's worth to try and get it exact. So you just kind of do it like this, and I think I'm just going to bring it back to here for now. And you know, that's still a pretty regular grid, but it's you know, I'm not trying to be nitpicky about it. It doesn't actually have to connect. There you go. And we're going to want it to be up here as well. Gorgeous. Okay, gorgeous. You're looking great. Now, we want to have a grid over here as well. That's going to be our industrial grid. So with the industrial grids, you kind of... I'm going to leave it a little bit more open, so I do want to have just a little bit. And we're just going to use the small industry road here. And go back to this one. Yeah. I'll probably break this into thirds. And I'm going to literally give it some extra space there. And then make that a little bit tighter for a couple. And then I'm going to literally just have it connect there. So, you know, all of this industry can come up to here, turn right, and then just turn right and go on out. Right? That's going to go over the river there. That's what that one's for. This one, I think it's going to come back, and it needs to be this one over here, and then it's gonna curve around and go into that road there, right? Because I'm not trying to get all these people to the freeway through that connection. We're probably going to want to put a connection here, if anywhere. And yeah, so what I'll do is I will do that like this. And you'll see pretty quickly that's not going to cut it because there's going to be a lot of traffic, especially right there. And so I'm going to have to start doing flyover and stuff. And this will be my first like highway intersection. Right now it's just like a regular intersection. Actually, technically, I guess that's kind of a highway intersection, but you can't go left. You can only go right or come from that. And then here, if you wanted to, you can turn left there, which makes sense to me, and then you can go this way if you really wanted to, but you can probably come over here to do it anyway. But this way, that I see being used very little because you can just go straight while I come over to here. Maybe I should delete that and make it over here, but I don't know. I'm conflicted. Actually, I think I will delete that, and if I would connect anywhere, it maybe be here. That might be a good way to do it. Yeah. Yeah, I like that. Okay. And this is that. I'm going to leave that because I'm going to say, you know what, that's how it originally was. And then at some point, somebody said this was better because that's kind of what actually happened. And then it's also going to give just a little bit of texture to this area. And then you know what we could do is we could make this square like a proper park. Right? It's right in the center of the city. It's got some elevation, so you can have some nice stuff up here as well as down there. And yeah, I think that'll be like our main city park here. This is going to be industry. This is going to be commercial. This is going to be all commercial. This will be our low income residential. This will be our high income residential. And yeah, I think we really have a great plan. Unfortunately, I've even gone long, but that's going to be the end of this episode. But I really thank you for watching. Of course, like, subscribe, hit the bell, comment, all those things. I'm not going to harp on that too much, guys, but I am going to ask, since this is the second video, first real building video, do that for me. I really would appreciate it. It's going to help me grow. You know, maybe even eventually start making some money off of doing this thing that I love, and hopefully y'all can enjoy it, and we'll see that it's worth that. Anyways, thank y'all very much, and I'll talk to y'all next time.